welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Alyssa and I'm so excited you are here today and stopped by to watch this video. I am a part-time reseller on places like eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, ThredUp, and Flip, and I use a lot of that money to help pay off a huge amount of debt. I have about $200,000 in student loan debt, and this will be a video all about closing out my January weeks 1 and 2 budget and then setting up weeks 3 and 4. So I'll show you exactly how I do all of that process. If you like reselling content, budgeting content, meal prepping content, ways to save money, how to not spend money, definitely please hit that subscribe button. I would be so appreciative. I post between 2 and 3 videos a week on this channel, so would love for you to follow on the multiple journeys that I am on here today. But let's get into closing out the budget because I want to get my budget set up for this next couple weeks. I'm so anxious and ready to see where I can save. So starting with January, and by the way, this is the Budget by Paycheck Peony workbook, full size, from the Budget Mom. I have been following her for about, 6 months now at this point, and I am so thankful to have found her. So this is the calendar I set up back in the very beginning of January, and this is really what I use to help sort of figure out what needs to be planned in my next couple weeks here. But first we have to close out the budget I set here. So for closing out my budget, and I think everyone kind of does this in their own way, but it all turns out the same in terms of the process here. So how I start when closing out my budget is I actually start with my expense tracker. So as you can see, I use the highlighter method here. So every budget category, which I've laid out here for myself, and everyone's will sort of be different. Like some of these may not work for your lives, but these work for me. And so each color has a different category. So grocery is pink, eating out is blue, gas car is orange, and so on. I don't have 2 highlighters for travel and pets, but I have some that I may be able to use here. So I go through and highlight every expense on here, and this month was wacky, like super wacky. There was a lot of money moving around between my emergency fund and my checking account. I am a cashless spender, except with sinking funds. So sinking funds I do take out, which is highlighted right here, but everything else I use for my debit card. And that's really because I live in a major city and I have this major fear and anxiety about somebody robbing me, and I have all of this cash on me. So I don't want to do that. It works for some people, but for me it doesn't work. Maybe in the future. Basically I go through and throughout the month I do this, and I'll go through and highlight each of my expenses, and then at the very end I'm going to calculate everything up. So I've actually already done these calculations here, so let's write it down, and then that's what we're used to go and put in here, and then we'll go through and calculate everything out. For grocery, so all of the hot pink, that was a total of $110.19. And then eating out, I was actually really surprised with this number. It's a lot less than typical, $82.07. And then gas and car was $39.49. So a lot of these numbers, and you'll see when we go back to when we close out this week's here, I was sick for about a week, so I was working from home, so I didn't have to commute. We were really just going through the stuff we had in our pantry, which was fantastic. So for debt, $649.26. For investments, I made $72.76. Savings, we put $390 towards. Rent, so there's a lot of rent. Yeah, okay, those are the only 2. But so I split rent with my boyfriend, and he was having some bank troubles, the account that we use to pay it like no longer accepted his bank, so he couldn't transfer money fast enough. So I ended up covering his portion of the rent, and then he like Venmo'd me what he had in his Venmo account. So it's kind of wonky here, but I did the math and I figured everything out, and I know how much he owes me, but I did have to pull some money from my emergency fund to pay rent because the money I had PayPal'd him was like tied up. So I couldn't get that money back fast enough. So I pulled from my emergency fund, and then I ended up paying myself back here. And I won't go into too much detail, but so rent was unusually high this month. So I paid $1,598, so $1,598.50. And for fun and entertainment, $937. Holiday, I did not spend anything on. Self-care was $25. Miscellaneous, this was really high, $224.81. Insurance, I did not pay anything. Travel, I didn't pay anything. And then with pets, we did get a little puppy on Tuesday, so about a week ago, and I am not looking for any like feedback or thoughts on this, but we did essentially shop for a puppy. My boyfriend really wanted a specific breed. We had a mini Australian Shepherd in the past, and she passed away in October, and he really wanted another one, and since he's the main caretaker, I said, okay, fine, then you have to pay for it. So I did end up fronting the cost for this though, and he will be paying me back for it. So in total, with the purchase price really to the breeder and then also to like PetSmart and Petco to get supplies, it came out to about $2,144.70. I was not anticipating this cost, so as you'll see when we close out, it's obviously way over, but that's okay. It will all be paid back to me, and it'll go back into the emergency fund. And that's kind of why the emergency fund is there, right? I mean, getting a pet is not exactly an emergency, but I am thankful enough to have a large amount in there that I'm comfortable doing that, and not everyone may be comfortable with doing that. So as I was calculating everything with my ending balance, I realized that what I had calculated on this workbook compared to what was actually in my checking account, I calculated $649, but what's actually left in my checking account was $581, so I was off by 68 cents. Not bad. I have no idea where I was off by in terms of the 68 cents, but we're just going to move on and go from there. We're going to take these numbers and use it on closing out this budget and then setting up my next budget here. So I'm gonna do this. It's a little bit easier. So we're gonna start with the income. So because of all of the extra expenses and stuff that I used this month, I used a lot of savings, a lot of emergency funds more or less. So total in terms of saving used, I used $2,467. I don't like doing that. I do not like moving funds from my emergency account to fund large purchases that are not an emergency, but that's personal issues there, and we're just gonna move on, and it will pretty much all be paid back to me. So rollover was $151, and then my paycheck from work was $1,509. Okay, and then for my bonus and commission from work, I actually miscalculated this, so it was actually $1,305 that I got from them. So that's fine. And then reselling, I did not pay myself anything. So let's add up what the total income was for this month here. And it was, so 2,467 plus 1,509 plus, oops, hold on, I forgot this one, plus, actually, let's start over because I already lost track. Okay, 2,467 plus 151.1 plus 1,509 plus 1,305. So total of $5,467 432. I'll just leave it as a whole round number there. And let's move on to the bills, sort of the fixed expenses here. Okay, so this is where I go back to the expense tracker. So the rent was the only thing I had in this category this month, so I paid $15,980. We'll just keep a round, so $15,990 we'll say rent was, so $15,990. Fubo TV, it was $91. And Acorns, so Acorns and investments are actually the same account. Like, it's the same app that I use here, and I actually have an affiliate link below if you're interested in Acorns. I absolutely love it. It's helped me save. I just checked my account the other day. There's about $4,000 in there over the course of a couple years, but it's money that I honestly didn't even realize was gone from my accounts, and it's saving up and being invested for me. So I love Acorns, but when it comes to the $40, that's the automatic charge I have every month of $20. So I had 1, 2, so it was 40. And then my therapy, it was $25. So let's calculate all of that up here. $15,990 plus 91 plus 40 plus 25 equals $17,555, and we're gonna subtract that from 5,432, so 3,677. Okay, and then we pull this down here. A lot of this I do with you guys, so hopefully it doesn't sound too choppy or like I'm unprepared, but I do like to do this accurately with you guys together, and it's actually held me really accountable this month. So groceries, I do know we were under, so 110 with groceries. I should really have like a stopper here. Grab like an extra pen. Okay, so I'll put this here. Groceries, okay, so then we have eating out was $82. Gas in the car was $39, we'll say $40, round up. Investment, so I'd already calculated $40 in investments here. So it's really whatever is left in the investments I had this month. So I'm gonna take 40 and subtract it from the 72.76. So 72 minus 40, let's say $33. We're gonna round up. Rounding up will just help me with the math at the end. So fun and entertainment, so $90.30 is what I had for fun and entertainment. However, that actually went to my Fubo TV. So in terms of like extra, this was nothing. Self-care, I didn't spend any more with self-care. Same thing, the self-care right here, the 25 went to my therapy, and that is a fixed expense that I have. So that's fantastic. Miscellaneous, obviously this was really large, $224.81, so we'll call it $225. And then of course pets was, we'll say 2145 here. So 2,145. Okay, so now we need to tally all of this up. So we have 110 plus 82 plus 40 plus 33 plus 225 plus 2145, 2,635. I'm gonna calculate that one more time just to make sure I didn't miss anything, because that happens often. Plus 82 plus 40 plus 33 plus 225 plus 2145. 2,635, perfect. So now we're gonna subtract that from 3,677, which was what we started with before variable expenses, and it'll give me what I'm left with. So 1,000 1,042. And then we're going to take that number. So we're done with the variable expenses here. So let's flip this back up so it's just a little bit easier to view. Okay, so we're going to bring this up here, 1,042. And then we're going to calculate the total I put into sinking funds. So car insurance, I have this due actually in the upcoming paycheck period. The Super Bowl, I just wanted to put $100 towards. I had 60 saved, so I did put 40. My 52-week sinking challenge, I did actually put 103, but I had 3 ones in my wallet already, so I didn't pull it out, and I didn't want to like add $3 more here. It just wasn't, it's not what I wanted to do, so I just said I put 100 from this like paycheck, right? And then I have a different saving challenge I'm doing, and I didn't put any of that towards that. So total, I put 340 towards that. So we'll take 142, actually let me redo this, 142 minus 340 equals 702 left. 702. And then I did pay the 310 and the 339 towards my Discover credit card. I should write credit card here. And my Care credit. So this is, I have a little bit more debt to pay off because I got some stuff for the puppy on the card, but I actually have to return all of that once it gets delivered here, so it'll just be charged back to me. So total 310 plus 339, 649. So perfect. And we're gonna minus that by 702. So I should be left with $53. This actually, I didn't calculate it in here, and now that I'm thinking about it, so we'll put it down here. So I had budgeted nothing for extra savings here. However, I had another checking account I had opened with no card attached as like another sinking fund, and I didn't have any money in it. And they told me that if I didn't put money in it, everything would be like they would close the account. So I'll just say, I don't even know what it's called. I think I just said another personal savings. I did put $50 towards that. And that's something that's not accounted here, which I actually forgot to do. Or I calculated it in the other one in the expense tracker. So that should have been 0, and then 50. So if everything was like perfectly round numbers, I should have $3 left over. However, I don't. I have that $5. So I was off somewhere, and I've actually done the math so many times and I can't figure it out. So we're actually just gonna say we were left with, I was left with about $5 and I think like 81 cents. Go back to the expense tracker. Yeah, $5.81. So that's what I'm gonna write. And that brings us to our next budget here. So my rollover is going to be $581. So if we look back at my budget for the first 2 weeks of January, you know, I was under with groceries, I was under with eating out, under with gas, under with investments, which I would like it to be higher, ideally, but that's okay. But way higher with miscellaneous. So that's okay. And I'm thankful to have, you know, the sinking funds and emergency funds that I have to be able to sort of bankroll, you know, like the puppy or some other different things here. But the most important, I think, is that I paid off some debt. I did, when I did this budget originally with you guys, right after I filmed, I actually went and I made these payments. So there was no questioning what was going to happen here. I know a lot of people will put their debt here, like the minimum payment. However, I actually prefer to have a separate area for debt because I always pay more than my minimum payment. So that's just how I do it. I think you're supposed to put your minimum payment here and then how much extra you're putting here. I actually calculate this before I do these. So you'll see that once we do this next budget here. And then when I pull out my sinking funds and I stuff my cash envelopes, I do go through here and put the actual numbers so I don't forget how much I put where. So let me know what questions you have on closing out this week's budget. We'll do a total January closeout at the end of the month, but first we need to plan for the second 2 weeks of January. I almost forgot what we were planning for here. First, we're gonna start with the income, like how much money I made this month, and calculate how much I essentially have to spend. But I'm gonna take a quick drink of my coffee. I'm not gonna show you my mug because then I would spill my coffee everywhere and that wouldn't be good. So my favorite part is planning out what I get to spend for the month, or pay off, right? Paying off debt is ideal. Okay, so rolling over $581, and then my paycheck, it actually went down by $10 because in Washington State, we actually have a new tax that they're implementing. Don't get me started on it, but so my paycheck has gone down by $10, but I did get news that I'm getting a raise, so that's starting. It'll be implemented, like I'll get the money on the next paycheck, so that's really exciting. But for this week, it's $1,499, and then let's see, extra, I'm not anticipating anything back this month, but I will have to use about $520 in sinking funds for my car insurance. So in total, so 5.81 plus 1,499 plus 520, so 2,000. We're gonna leave off the 81, $2,024. $2,024. Perfect. And the bills, so this is where I go back to my calendar, and at the beginning of the month, I write when all of my bills are due. So 15th is when I got paid, so we have Spotify. We'll write that too. Let's do 115, and it is typically $10. All right, and then we have, we'll get back to the variable expenses. So then we have Xfinity and my Acorn. So Xfinity, and that is typically like $61. And when was that due again? The 20th. And Acorns, I calculate this for every Thursday. So we have 1, 2 Thursdays, and they're $20 each. So we're gonna put $40. Okay, what's next? So, okay, then on the 22nd, we have Amazon Prime and car insurance. So, $122, Amazon Prime, and then car. Okay, so my Amazon Prime, I believe it's $120 a year. And then my car insurance, so this is a tip for everybody. Call your car insurance rep and see if there's any extra savings. So originally, my car insurance was going to be about $720. I called them and there were some discounts that I wasn't receiving that I thought I was, and it dropped it down to in the 500s. I can't remember for the life of me exactly what she said, and it does take about 10 business days for it to update, so it hasn't been that long. So I'm just gonna budget $600, knowing that that's gonna be over budgeting, but that's okay, and it'll just make me have, you know, more money at the end of the month here. So call your insurance agency and see if there's any discounts that you could be saving. I learned that from the Budget Mom Facebook group, and I called them and they were so sweet and so helpful at the insurance agency, and I'll be saving about $200 every 6 months, and that is fantastic. Okay, and then let's see if there's anything else. So we've got Amazon Prime, car insurance. Oh, Hulu. Hulu is $12, and that is due the 25th. And then I already calculated this. Okay, I have a therapy appointment on the 27th. And that is $25. Notice how there's a significant, I don't remember. There's more bills on this budget than this one, and I've done that very strategically. I actually moved my Xfinity for when it was due from, I think it was like the 14th, so it would have been on this paycheck, to the 20th. So that, because I just have more money and because rent's due this in this paycheck. So therapy, is there anything else? Discover, that's okay. No. So that is about it for the bill. So let's calculate how much in bills we'll pay for this paycheck period. So 10, 61, plus 40, plus 120, plus 600, plus 12, plus 25, 868. So we'll write 868. And we'll subtract that from the total income, so minus 2024, gives us 1,156 left over. So we'll drop that down here. And then this is where I grab, for the variable expenses, I grab my budget categories to figure out which ones I will need to write in my variable expenses. It's pretty much the same like every week. So we have grocery, and then eating out, and then gas and car, investments, fun, entertainment, self-care, pets, and then miscellaneous. So those are all my variable expenses here, and they're pretty much the same every paycheck period, which is nice. But I do have a lot of money in Amazon gift cards here, so I'm going to be using a lot of that to order groceries. So this should be pretty low over the next couple of weeks here. So I'm only going to budget $75 for groceries, meaning I'm only gonna, use my debit card for that much. Eating out, I do the same every 2 weeks, 100. My gas and car, I am commuting back to work, and it's about $40 each time, but I'm giving myself a little bit more because I need to get some stuff for my windshield for like the rain. Investments, so I realized that it's actually normally more than this. I'm not sure why last week it was less, but I'm gonna give myself a little bit more for investments of $60. Fun and entertainment, we don't have anything planned really, just with the puppy. That's our new fun and entertainment. Self-care, besides the therapy, I don't really have anything else going on. Pets, I have no idea. I'm still trying to figure out really what's the best number here. So I'm just gonna budget 200 and see how it goes. Miscellaneous, we're gonna do 100. I've already actually spent $82 of this because the puppy chewed my computer charger, so that's fantastic, and it's about $80 to replace, so yay for me. But let's calculate how much in variable expenses. And remember, I'm cashless, so there's no cash stuffing to be had with the variable expenses. So $635, I'm gonna recalculate that just to make sure. 75 plus 100 plus 100 plus 60 plus 200 plus 100, 635. So we're gonna track that from what was left over, so minus 1156. So 521 is left. So before we do the sinking funds, I do want to put a couple of this towards debt. So I want to start with that first, and then my Discover. I do want to pay my credit card off this month, so That's about $130. Like I was saying earlier, there's some stuff I have to return, but I want to pay this off before I get my statement so I don't get charged interest. So I just want to write that down first. And then what I do is like, okay, yes, I have 521 left, but I know I want to do the 130. So minus 130. So really I have $391 for sinking funds, and then my care credit card. I already paid the bill on both of these this month. I won't be doing anything extra really, but we'll see what I can do here. I did get notice that, so I have season tickets to the college that I went to for their football season, that my season tickets are up for renewal very soon. I can't remember how much it was. I think it's between $500 and $600. So I have a sinking fund started, but I'm gonna put about $90 towards that. And then I wanna calculate my savings challenges first and foremost. So I have my 52 week, and then I have a 52 week penny savings challenge. And then I know eventually I wanna put more towards my emergency fund again, but for right now this is going to be 0. And the savings challenge, let me find them. So this is the 52-week penny savings challenge. I actually just found this on the internet and printed it off. Actually copied the photo to a Word doc, enhanced it, and then made it larger. That will be that. And then this is the other 52-week savings challenge I'm doing. I'm actually doing it backwards. So these two weeks 49 and 50 will be the ones I'll be in this budget. So that's $99. And then because of the 52 weeks, and I really just don't have that much extra cash to do the higher numbers, I'm gonna start and see how far I can go here. So I'm gonna do $11 towards that, and it'll cover all of this and then a couple ones for some other things I want to do. So we're gonna put 11, and just so it like evens everything out right here. And I believe that's it. There's also this 365-day penny savings challenge I'm doing, but that's just when I have extra change or things left over. I'm just gonna go through and mark off the ones I can get. So I'm not doing too bad so far, but I'll have $667 for this one and this one at the end. For the 52 weeks, I'll have about $1,378. So that's fantastic. And let's finish this up so we can get on with our day today. So total in terms of the savings, we're going to do, oh, there's one other one. Okay. So I'm saving to get a new MacBook Air. I've had mine for about 6 years, and my understanding is that's a very long time for it to be lasting, and it's moving so slow, things are just not going great. So I want to put more towards this, but I want to calculate what I've got so far. So I'm going to do the 521 again, minus the 130. I know this is all over the place, but this is how my mind works. So 90 minus 99 minus 11. Okay, equals, I think I missed something somewhere. That's okay. 191. So that's how much I have left over after all of this and this. I'm going to put about 150 towards my MacBook, and then minus 150 equals, and then $41 towards my care credit. So watch how this works out. So we're going to see that out. 90 plus 99. So we're adding up my sinking funds, plus 150. So 350 minus 521, 171. This equals 171. So I'm left with 0. So my rollover going into February should be 0. So I hope that was helpful in terms of setting up the budget. I will go through and create a cash slip over here for the bank, and it'll give me all of these in the exact numbers I want them in. And then from there, I'll stuff these envelopes off camera. But I hope that was helpful in terms of how I am working to pay off debt. You notice my student loans aren't here yet because I actually am in, there's, you know, no interest being charged due to like the COVID stuff. So I've been working to pay off some other debt first before I go in there. So that's how I've set up this budget here. I hope it was helpful. Let me know what questions, comments, concerns you have in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel if you've made it this far. I hope to be posting at least 3 budget videos a month, and I hope you let me know about your budgeting journey as well. I will say I'm not a financial expert, but I love budgeting and I love figuring stuff out like this. So come back at the end of the month to see how I close out my January budget. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!